Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lissun's Lissun's third episode with Mindfulness with Listen. I hope everybody had a great festive season and, coming back to work after, the festive season, it obviously makes you feel a little sad and still in the festive mode because I myself feel that way. So last time we had a very good session with Mansi where she taught us a lot of mindfulness tips, and I myself kind of applied them, and I feel really mindful and present and calm. So today we have a very special guest, Dr. Charu Prabhakar, who's this clinical psychologist from Lissun, and I'm really looking forward to a session with you, Charu. Hi, how are you?
Hi Anushka, thank you for the warm welcome. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Welcome to
That's
the
great.
third episode of Mindfulness with Listen. Of course, the first question, of course, is what is mindfulness according to you? I think Charu is facing some technical difficulty. She'll be right back. Yeah, hi.
Hello, am I audible?
Can you?
It was a technical glitch. Yeah. So mindful. Yes, Anushka.
The network is a little bit shaky, I guess.
Am I audible to?
You are, but
Yeah.
your voice is
Am I
breaking.
audible to you? Okay, just give me a second. Is it better now? I hope.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you asked what mindfulness is and what is my understanding of mindfulness. So my understanding of mindfulness is a skill. So it's a skill which gives me the power of being in the present moment, both mentally and physically. A lot of time we are physically present in a moment, but we are mentally lost either in the past or in the future. Very well was mentioned by Mansi in the last session where she
Uh, to the default mode network. Yeah. So sorry about that. I think Charu is facing some technical issues. Yeah, hi.
Hi, I am trying to fix it. Just kindly excuse me for the
No worries,
inconvenience
no
that has been
worries.
caused.
It's all
So
okay.
yeah, I was saying that in the last session it was beautifully mentioned by Mansi, where she compared our mind to the mind. So what monkey mind means? Just like a monkey, our mind keeps on hopping either in the past or in the future. We are
Hmm.
not mentally present in the given moment. So mindfulness is a skill which gives me the power to be in the present moment with all of my mental ability. That is what I understand by mindfulness.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
like you said, like most of the times we are physically present and mentally somewhere else. That happens a lot with me. And I think a lot of everybody who's watching might relate to this. Like sometimes we're just like working or even reading or doing something else, but our mind is not really there. So,
Yeah.
how does mindfulness help with that?
Okay. So as I mentioned, mindfulness is a skill. So practicing that skills again and again and again and again makes you excel in, being mindful. So mindfulness helps in being in the present. I think the last two practitioners have very beautifully given some exercises to you guys, I guess, which you would be practicing. And even in the today's session, I will be giving you some exercises which you can practice. And this practice will help you in building that skill, which will, help you in being more mindful in everyday routine, everyday life. So that's a few techniques and tools which you can resort to.
Okay. Also, I have this like query. I've always wanted to know like how does like mindfulness help with dealing with thoughts? Like sometimes thoughts do take a lot on like a person's emotions, and they do not feel because of thoughts we do not often are present in the moment. So how does like mindfulness help with that, and how can we do apply that? If you can tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a very, nice question, Anushka. So thank you for putting that question across. So yes, mindfulness is not only a tool which helps me, which tells me that be in the present moment, like everyone around us keeps on telling us. Mindfulness provides you with the tools and techniques of how to be in the present moment. And when I say being in the present moment, I again emphasize that being in the present moment mentally. So when I say mentally, it means that how to deal with those thoughts, which are again and again taking me either to the past or to the future or in the future. My mind is constantly bringing up those thoughts from the past. Now, when I say past, it does not only refers to something that happened 10 years or 20 years ago. It also refers to those things which have happened just a minute back. But
Yeah,
something which has
definitely.
happened a minute back is the past. It's not going on right now. Something that's going to happen 1 hour later, maybe I'm going to have my exam 1 hour later, but how to deal with those overwhelming thoughts related to the future is what we will be learning in today's session.
That I'm really looking forward to it because I think that will really help me and everybody is watching because this is such a normal thing because everybody feels this. I think I've talked to a lot of friends who say I'm always constantly overthinking about my past. Like I'm not able to work. I'm not able to do this because I always keep thinking. And I think, if I learn something like this, I can also help them, when they're overthinking. So I'm really looking forward to what you have for the session today.
Yeah, I hope that whatever we are going to learn in today's session, that turns out to be really helpful for all of those who are watching the session. So I think we can start with the session.
Yes, we should.
Okay. So in the last session, Mansi compared our mind with a monkey, with a equivalent to monkeys. That's what Mansi said. So today I'm going to give another perspective. I'll bring another perspective into your awareness. So our human mind is just like any other system of the body. Any So as we all indication that our heart is working perfectly. It's doing its work, right? Similarly,
Hmm.
the mind has so many works to be done. Mind is an enormous system which has so many tasks to be accomplished. And thought is just one of the work that mind is doing. So if you're having thoughts, it means your mind is working properly. So that's an indication. Having thought does not mean that you have a problem. Having thought is an indication that your mind is working properly. So now, as you mentioned, that there are a lot of people who keep on feeling that there are so many thoughts that are constantly going up in my mind, right? So now we'll take a minute to understand from where these thoughts are coming. So why all of this understanding is important? Because until and unless we will be knowing the background, we will not be able to appreciate what our mind is doing for us, right? So thoughts can be brought up by the situation, by the feelings that we are having, by the action or the behavior we are doing, and by the thoughts themselves. Now, how to understand that, I'll use some examples. So you might have noticed ever that if you are in a particular situation, let's say that you have walked in for an interview. Walking in for an interview is a situation for you. So being in a situation will bring some thoughts for you. Now you notice that you are being nervous, or you notice that you are sad. Now that will also generate some thoughts for you. Now you notice that you are going to perform a live session, right? A live performance, or you're going to do a dance performance. That means you are going to do an action. You will still have some thoughts. Now, when you sit
Yeah.
and think about the past, now just thinking about the past, that act again will bring a lot of thoughts. So, thought thing which is being brought up in your awareness and is triggered by so many factors. So now just if there are so many
Yes.
things that are bringing up the thoughts, then definitely the thought, isn't it? So this is the reason why our mind constantly, manufacture thoughts. It indicates that your mind is working properly. Fine.
That is
So now
actually,
we are,
that is such a relief. Like, it's a very good anecdote. Like, I definitely use that because I think you're absolutely right. Thoughts, we don't have to think so much about it. It's just a, part of life, and it's a function that my mind is working. Yeah, you were saying?
yeah, yeah. So I was saying, as you said, we don't realize that this is normal. Our minds are supposed to manufacture thoughts. Where the problem arises? The problem arises at a point when we get carried away with these thoughts. And because of these thoughts, we get disconnected from the present moment mentally. Again, we are physically present in the moment. These thoughts, we get carried away and we get disconnected mentally. That's where the problem arises. Okay. Now why this is a problem? That if I'm getting carried away by my thoughts, why this is a problem? The reason that it is problematic is that when we get carried away with the thoughts, our perception of the given moment is colored by the thoughts. Now I'll give an example for this so that we can understand this. So let's say, for example, you have a dance performance in the next hour, right? And your mind is constantly thinking about how to go about it. Will I be able to do this or not? All these thoughts are coming in your mind. Now, when you start, when you get carried away with these thoughts, definitely you will see that these thoughts are important. What if I don't, if I'm unable to perform well? What if I fail? What if I miss some step? This means now you are carried away with the thoughts and it will impact your current performance. I
Yeah,
think it
huh.
would have happened with most of us, right? At some point or the other in the life, right? There
Definitely.
is the
Yeah.
problem. There is the problem. So having a thought is not a problem. Being carried away by the thought, which
Hmm.
in turn disconnects us from the present moment, is the problem. Getting colored by the thoughts is the problem, right? Now, how to deal with that, we will be learning in next sometime, in some time now.
No, you're
Unfortunately, yeah,
No, I'm just saying, you're really right that like we often get carried away with thoughts, which affects our performance because that really happens like with work also, with life also. If you're, constantly thinking and just like procrastinating and not working, that like in terms of when you sit down to actually do the work, it's not exactly what you thought, and then you again go into another overthinking state because that actually happens with me. So I think like whatever you are going to like tell me right now is going to help me so much because like I get into so many situations like this.
away with those thoughts. And no one has ever told us how to deal with the thoughts, right?
Hmm.
We are always taught about how to behave, how to work, how to sit, how to eat, but no one told us ever how to deal with those thoughts.
Hmm.
And that's why what
True.
we do, we just try to, do hit and trial methods. If something sometimes works, it doesn't mean that next time it will work, right? So that's why the mindfulness as a skill is very important to learn for all of us. Okay. So, as I said, thoughts are being brought up by so many factors, which I mentioned some time back. So, having a thought is not something that is under my control. Even the experts who have been practicing mindfulness for years, even they don't have a control over their thoughts. They can't decide in advance what thought they want to have and what thought they don't want to have. Mindfulness here brings the autonomy, brings the ability to respond to those thoughts and not react to those thoughts. So there is a very thin difference which has a very big whether I'm responding to my thoughts or whether I'm reacting to my thoughts. To those thoughts in a much more mindful way. That's what mindfulness does. Okay. So now, as I said earlier also, mindfulness is a skill. We can learn the skill anytime in our life. And with practice, the skill will get refined and we will be in a better position to use it in our day-to-day life, right? So, one thing that mindfulness does not mean avoiding any uncomfortable thought, any uncomfortable emotion. And at the same time, it does not mean holding on to the positive thought for a long time. Let me give me an example again. So most of us have a tendency when we think that we are thinking negatively, oh god, we should not think like this. We either try to distract ourselves by using mobile phone, by using social media, by keeping ourselves occupied in our work, or what we do, we try to think positively. We try to replace that negative thought by a positive thought, either by praying, either by being hopeful, optimistic. That's the one case scenario. The second scenario, when we are having a positive thought or a thought in which we have a lot of faith, which we feel that it's lot more important, right? What we do, we try to hold on that thought. We try to
Yeah.
think about it more, right? So mindfulness as a skill helps me in understanding and help me in treating thoughts just like thoughts, just like a function of a mind. Mindfulness will help you in not holding onto a thought and not avoiding a thought also. Fine. So this is what mindfulness will be.
I think that is going to be really
So
useful.
I think many a time it might have happened with most of us that when we think, yeah, I also think so. I also think so. It will help. It will be very useful. So moving ahead, monologue, right? So I think many a time, um,
I'm all for the exercise here.
okay, great. So I think many a time it might have happened that if we think about something, we think that this is true. For example, if I think that my friend does not like me, I believe that. I don't realize that this is just a thought. I am buying that thought. I am purchasing that thought. I just buy that thought. I don't realize that this is just a thought. It's just a manufactured product of my mind. Now we treat the thoughts as the fact, while the opposite is true. The thoughts are not facts. Thoughts keep on changing with situation. Now we'll do one exercise to get a more understanding of this.
Okay.
Fine? Will that be okay, Anushka?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I want you to imagine a situation is on the other side of the road. Fine.
Okay.
You wave your hand to, call your friend, to greet your friend. You waved your hand, but your friend
Hmm.
didn't see you. Think of the possible thoughts that you might have in this situation.
I'll be
All
very
possible
awkward.
thoughts. Okay, awkward.
I will be probably thinking ki, wow, this is really stupid. What if somebody saw me doing that and not and them not responding, and I'll feel stupid and also feel angry that my friend didn't respond. So yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you can think your, a thought that at that time?
um, I guess. I'll be thinking, I'll probably, overthinking, ki, did they probably, notice me and not wave and, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned few things. Just correct me if I missed any of the point, right? The first was that you will feel awkward. You will think that what if I might, I might come across as stupid, right? This was the first thought. Second thought you had that you would be angry because you had a thought that your friend ignored you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the third one you said that a thought that did the friend really notice me? These three
Hmm.
thoughts might come in your mind, right? Now, I want you to reflect upon one important thing that at that given moment, you are not in a position to know what was the real reason behind your
Hmm.
friend's behavior until you asked your friend about it.
Definitely.
These all are just thoughts. They all are the possibilities, but
Hmm.
they are not the facts. Are you able to
That
appreciate
is,
that?
yes. That is a very good way to look at it.
Yeah. So here our mind is thinking of all of the possible reasons of our behavior. And mind, and we are going to buy any one idea. And if we buy any one idea, let's say if we think that our friend ignored us, we buy this idea of the mind. In that situation, you said you will be feeling angry. So your thought is
Hmm.
impacting your emotion. So what do you think if you feel angry, what you're gonna do next after this? Will you be talking to your friend or you will not be talking to your friend? Or something
I
else
will.
that you're gonna do?
I mean, I would obviously ask them, are they mad at me? And, I can't, and even if they tell me, I wouldn't believe them in the first go because I'm me. I'll obviously ask them again, okay, what's wrong? And even if it's nothing, I'll be thinking about it. So, yeah.
You will be thinking about it, right? So this thought and this specific situation will bring some more thoughts into the picture, right? So thought is impacting my mood, thought is impacting my emotions, thought is impacting my further thoughts. And as you mentioned that you will be talking to your friend, and I'm sure you won't be talking to your friend nicely at that given moment. Your behavior will be impacted by your emotion of anger.
Yeah.
So see, the thought over here is also impacting my consequent
Yeah.
action.
Yes,
So
definitely.
this is the power of a thought.
Thoughts do hold a lot of power, and I do this so much, and I never realized that this is so useless, and I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I want to reflect. I want you to reflect on one thing again over here. Yes, thoughts have power. They have the power to impact our consequent action. Impact impact our future thoughts as well. So it's it's important to realize
I'm
that
sorry, I
you
was
have the
having some
power
network
of
issues. Can you
deciding
hear me now?
which. So I was saying that we have just reflected by doing the exercise and realized the immense power of thoughts, right?
Hmm.
How powerful thoughts are. Before this, I mentioned in the beginning of the session that our mind is a thought producing factory. So our mind will
Hmm.
produce n number of thoughts, and each thought has such a big power. It might make us feel very helpless, like a small child. But mindfulness as a tool will help you in gaining that skill, which will empower you, where you can make a decision on which
Hmm.
thought you want to buy and which thought you don't want to buy. Right?
Yeah.
So, here comes again a very significant realization from this exercise that thoughts are not facts. If thought were facts, then every situation will have only one thought, and wahi sach hoga. There would be no other truth behind it, right? This
Yeah.
one situation with a friend, and your mind came up with so many thoughts, which means possibilities. This is not a
Hmm.
fact. There are so many possibilities too, right? So our
Hmm.
thoughts are not facts. This is something which is needed to, remember,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
this is
everybody
very
should
important.
take into this that it's not going to actually happen. We just keep on thinking about certain things and putting ourselves in that, position where we feel a lot of pressure. We shouldn't be doing that. It's just thoughts. It's going to go away. Other thoughts are going to come in.
Yeah,
So you don't need to give mind to every thought that we have.
yeah. You have it, Anushka. Congratulations for that.
It's all because of you guys. I mean, every Saturday, this is my good mindfulness session that I get, and I also apply this in my life, and I've become really mindful. Thank you for noticing.
You're welcome. I think because you are practicing it, that's why you are
Hmm.
able to understand it, right? One thing I also want to highlight, do at level. Now, what I mean by that is, a lot of time we remind ourselves, be in the moment, be in the moment. This is
Hmm.
the way of dealing with those thoughts at thought level, skill. So we are going to acquire that skill. So knowing that is the first step. Being aware of step, which you have
Hmm.
successfully achieved. Now comes the second part, how to apply it, right? Which you have been doing
Hmm.
I realized. Now, in the last two sessions, practitioners have mentioned some of the wonderful exercises. In today's session, we'll be doing one exercise which you can practice maybe on daily basis, or especially when you feel that you are stuck with the thoughts, and now your mind is coming up with n number of thoughts, and now you're overwhelmed with this. So this exercise can be very helpful in inculcating the mindfulness skill, and it will help you in seeing the present as it is, not the present which is colored by your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. Fine.
So yes, fine.
Okay, so just one disclaimer that I want to give, that mindfulness is not something which is there to enhance your mood, or which is there to suppress the negative thoughts. The
Yeah.
aim is to help you in being mentally present in the given moment, and the rest of the things will be automatically taken care by. And that's something जो free आता है mindfulness के साथ.
Yes, true. Being mindful
So
is all that to do when you are being in the moment. Because if you're in the moment, you recognize all your feelings. Because Mansi, I mean, I had the last session with Mansi, and she said, just being present is all that it takes. You don't have to always, you know, just be the space. She said, just be the space. You are the space. Nothing can, take that away from you. So I think, I'm looking forward to what you have for me today.
okay, so this exercise uh, is इसका टाइटल इज लीव्स ऑन द स्ट्रीम. ठीक है. So we'll be doing this exercise.
Sorry, can
I
you
will
go
be
on?
giving some instructions and have to follow that. It's as simple as that. Yeah. The name of the exercise is.
Nay, can you repeat it once more? Because your
Yeah,
network was not.
no issues. The name of the exercise is leaf on the stream.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
ठीक है. So shall we start?
Hmm. Yes.
Shall we start the exercise? Okay.
Hmm.
Either close your eyes or fix on a spot, whichever you prefer. Imagine that you are sitting by the side of a gently flowing stream, and there are leaves flowing past on the surface of the stream. Imagine it however you like. Place it on a leaf and let it flow on by. Do this regardless of whether the thoughts are positive, negative, pleasurable, or painful. Even if they are the most wonderful and brilliant thoughts, place them on the leaf and let them flow on by. Thoughts stop, just watch the stream. Sooner or later, your thoughts will start again. Put all your thoughts that pop in your head on the leaf and let it flow in the stream. Allow the stream to flow at its own rate. Don't speed it up. You are not trying to wash the leaves away, even if it includes thoughts, painful thoughts, or negative thoughts. You are allowing them to come and go in their own good time. If your mind says, this is stupid, or I can't do it, or am I doing it correct or not, place those thoughts as well on the leaf. If a leaf gets stuck, let it hang around. Don't force it to float away. If a difficult feeling arises, such as boredom or impatience, simply acknowledge that. Say to yourself, here's the feeling of boredom, or here's the feeling of impatience. And then place those words on a leaf and let the leaf float on by. From time to time, your thoughts will hook you and you will lose the track of the exercise. Remember, this is normal and natural, and it will keep happening. As soon as you realize it's happened, gently acknowledge it and then start the exercise again by putting all your thoughts on the leaf and let the leaf float at its own speed. Putting all the thoughts on the leaf. Whenever you feel comfortable, you can stop this exercise and using your eyes who have closed their eyes, you can gently open their eyes.
Wow, that feels so nice.
Okay.
Like my voice has also become very calm, like very nice. Right. I can do this like when I'm like
So, what was
feeling a
your
lot of.
experience?
I was, I imagined a big leaf. I put all my thoughts like how you were guiding, Sometimes, of course, when you said, when if you're feeling a little bored, put that thought as well. So in between, of course, I was waiting for your instructions. I got a little bored, so I put that thought as well on the leaf, and it was so good to, you just like make it clear and just felt
You know, that's great. That's great that we're able to do the exercise. But one thing I want to mention over here as well, there might be times when you might feel bored, you might feel impatient, you might have thoughts that you are unable to do the exercise correctly. And
hmm,
you might find that you don't have any thoughts. Okay. That experience of that given moment. You don't have to change any target. That
hmm,
it is how it is, right? And we have to accept it. We have to be with the moment the way it is, right? There is nothing right, nothing wrong.
true.
This is how it is. And that's what mindfulness is all about. So I think whenever one feels that they are stuck with the thoughts, they are just overwhelmed with the emotions, or they feel that, I'm snapping out at everyone without any apparent reason. I'm just annoyed and irritated. In those times, such exercises are, can do
Helpful. Yeah.
miraculous things. They can make you aware of what exactly you're feeling, what thoughts are crossing your mind, which otherwise is very difficult to understand, right? So by doing such exercises,
Hmm.
they will be helpful.
Yeah, I guess this
And
exercise can help
as I
everybody
mentioned
recognize.
before starting the exercise,
Yeah,
that the aim of
like
mindfulness
you
is
said,
not to
recognizing the
feel
thoughts.
better,
This exercise can
not
actually
to
help
remove.
everybody, recognizing, at least take your emotions into considerations and your thoughts into considerations, and putting it in front of you and just like letting it flow, which is how it should be.
Yeah, because as we realized in the middle of the session that our mind is a thought factory. It's going to produce an n number of thoughts. Now we have to
Hmm.
decide which thought we want to buy and not. But for that, we should have, right? We should know what the options are. And we should not end up buying any, and we
Yeah,
should
definitely.
do impulsive buying of the thoughts. So being mindful is all about that. As I said, practice, practice, practice. Practice makes, mindfulness skill. In
I really hope that everybody who is watching finds this useful and helps, applies this in their life, recognizing those emotions and thoughts and, powering through and buying the right thought. So I hope like this is useful for anybody who wants to, apply mindfulness in their life because it's very important to do so.
yeah, Anusha, really.
So, Charu, uh, do you have anything?
So my last take, yeah, no, nothing more from my side for the day, and just a takeaway that remember thoughts are not facts. We have to buy thoughts mindfully, and such exercises can help you in doing that.
Thank you, Charu. This was really an amazing session,
Thank you,
and I will really
Anusha. That's
apply
all
this
from my side.
mindfulness, in my life as well. And I'm really happy that I had this session, and I hope that everybody who's watching has found the session useful, and I'm hoping to see everybody on the next sessions next Saturday. So keep calm and listen, and happy Saturday, everyone. Bye, Charu.